I got you. No, that's a good idea.
I like it.
I love it.
And I would put the New York in there on the state.
Oh. Hey, no, I keep pointing it out. I love it. NA, sorry. Are you supposed to be doing this?
No,
Oh, I love the support. Learn how the right way to do this stuff.
as soon as I figure it out.
Well, they got a good Chiefs. He does. I like that.
Looks better, right?
Yeah,
Doesn't
it
have
does.
that big open space on the back.
Yeah, why? It's not showing my S there. There it is. Okay. Cool. I want to put the rosters in. Visitors in Massapequa. This is going to be slow typing for me. Is there a way to add more players?
Yes, go to the top.
Here.
Up, scroll up.
I didn't scroll at all. Thank you.
Right there.
Yeah.
Players to show.
20 players. Son of a gun. I hate you now. I don't like you at all. Stopping at 11. guess what? We're not going to show players. They're both 16 and 20. That was an idea. I don't want to do it if we can't show them all.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that. Yeah, I would just go with that. Go with the scoreboard on the bottom, and then that other one.
Yep.
That just says, you know, you can't do the rosters, you can't do them.
Yep. I'll have to talk to Don about that. Don, get your programmers on this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, at least get it up to 20. Not that you have that, but.
Oh, you never know.
Right.
Yeah. A lot of these teams, when they hit the sectionals, will bring their JVs up and they load them up. Where are you out of?
Repulse area, Black Hill.
Yeah. Fun to have you all the way up here.
Well, this isn't bad. 2 weeks ago, he had me, where did I go? Livonia? Yeah,
Get out by
exactly,
Buffalo?
exactly,
Get
yeah.
out, oh, that's a drive.
Yeah, I was up there.
Oh.
They set me up there for a diving, like semifinal or something like that.
One thing?
6 divers.
For like a 7-hour drive for you?
No, it wasn't 7. It was probably about 4.5.
Oh, well, that's right. You're not
Like
that
2
far.
hours up past Big.
Oh,
Because I left there. That was like a 6 o'clock or a 4 o'clock event. And then I left there probably about 6:30. Drove back to Binghamton. Cheerleading that Saturday. Saturday afternoon, I drove up to Verona. I was up there for 2 days.
yeah.
So that's Sunday, Monday, Tuesday morning I got up. I drove to Colony and did a soccer game with Tim where we froze our asses off.
Yeah. I'm usually, you do the camera with them? Yeah, so you're always on top of the press
Well,
box.
we were both there. There was no press box.
No shit.
No,
Up in the
this
stands?
No. This was on the grass field, and they had aluminum scaffolding. You know, had the stairs on or whatever. That was it, and they were just, that's where we were. And, you know, I showed up, I mean, the whole weekend I was inside. The whole week I was inside on everything. So, all I had on was, you know, like track sneakers or something like that, cloth sneakers, a pair of jeans. I had a coat. I brought a hat and gloves just in case. Thank God. But my feet,
You can't feel them when you're done.
once your feet are cold,
Yeah.
you're done.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what else you have on. Once your feet are cold, you're finished.
I have a bag.
So I was talking with Tim. He's like, yeah, I was going to order these boots on Amazon or Columbia's or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And I got home on Tuesday night after 800 miles. And it was Wednesday morning. I'm sitting there online. I'm looking at boots or whatever. And my wife's like, what are you doing? I said, I'm buying boots. And I said, I'm buying snow pants. I said, the snow pants protect you from wind and rain.
Yeah.
Boots, because I'm not going to be cold.
And you're gonna need them in. We're gonna need them in spring.
And I said, I'm not going to be cold like that.
I do hockey here. So I have a bag full of toe warmers, hand warmers, earmuffs.
It's not cold in here.
It gets cold enough when I'm standing right by the ice on my feet. So I'll always have the toe warmers in. And then I have the gloves with the fingertips because I do it still shoots. And my hands will stick. But other than that, the body's okay. It's just fingers and toes here. So I had that with me. We did Stillwater, did girls soccer. And that was on top of the scaffolding with the. So I had all that layered up with a scarf around me and my Russian wool hat on. And
That's why she said, why are you spending so much money on this? I mean, it was almost like $300. I'm like, you haven't been cold enough.
yes.
I said, when you get cold enough,
Yeah.
you will spend money.
You even think about the heated. Those are. I even looked at the ones where you plug in the USB and they heat for you. You seen those socks? They're insoles, and you plug them in. They're good for 3-4 hours. You charge USB, you put them in there, and you got a remote control to turn them up or down. Yeah, yeah. about that, but and you're going to use those for a long time. They're worth the investment. Oh,
And the funny thing is,
kind of.
huh?
Kind of. Nice.
I got my job on volleyball.
So you're not full time with, and he's got you running all over like that. What do you do during?
I'm retired firefighter.
Okay.
So I work 2 days a week as a co-enforcement
Oh, okay.
with the town advocate. So I work Monday, Tuesday.
This is perfect for you. Yeah. That's cool.
He's like, you want to run around the state? I said,
Well, that's
make it worth my while. Because I make it worth my while. I said, okay, I'll run around the state.
he's finding the people who can do that. You know, we just live up off of exit 19, so this is easy for us. Um, I'm starting to be okay with driving a little, but he's got a mileage or whatever. I went down 2 years ago to when you go far enough. Yeah, I did Middletown soccer championships 2 years ago.
Yeah, that's not far from me. That's like 10 minutes from my, or actually our house.
Frozen. Wow, was that cold?
Even in the press box?
I was on top.
Oh, okay.
And then I would really love a camera with a bigger screen so I can see. I have to wear my readers so I can see where. You bring your own camera? That's a good idea.
He's like, I can't use that. I mean, if you're doing soccer, how are you going to follow action on a 2-inch screen?
I had
You
a
move it an inch.
lacrosse is the best one. I couldn't follow lacrosse at all. So I had to zoom way out.
Even the bigger games, you still only get a screen like that. So that's why I want to set that.
Did,
Attach it
you
to
got
the,
yeah. Now you can see.
the little button so I can zoom in, zoom out right here.
Ooh. On my card I gave you, if you email me what you've got, I would love to see what you've got for the setup. Because I would grab the tripods are terrible. I would come in with my stuff all day long and do that.
If you use it enough, if it's worth, if you're just going to do this, I would buy it.
No,
But if you're going to use it for other stuff, absolutely.
we were here 11 games yesterday. I would have loved to have had that. And then we did,
Well, this isn't good. It's just, it's static.
right,
You know, it's just point the camera and you're done.
when we did the volleyball in Saratoga, I could go back and forth.
Right.
And I would have killed for a bigger.
Yeah, I mean,
And,
I got
and,
a
the,
7-inch.
and the finger zoom to follow to really get in on the spikes and stuff. Love it. 2 cameras would be even better so we could really focus on people. And I'll let you're going to sit next to me probably?
I'll see it.
All right, so I'll just give you the 5-4 2 1 and add from the line.
It'll be your shoulder and be able to hear Scott.
Oh, all right, so you'll be good. All right. And the sound tests are good on this? We're all good on sound? I think you were looking at it? Sky, how's the sound on this? Are you good with everything? I had this one hanging over the edge to just pick up the ambiance yesterday. That one over there did. But this, I don't know if this one did. These weren't bad. I think 240 was the one kit we had problems with in Stillwater.
Yes,
That was the one with the broken. No, we did.
You had the camera issue. I had the
You
laptop.
guys are the reason I've been running back and forth to Albany all the time.
So the. Later when we get something, I brought my laptop to show you what I put that thing out. What other tips and tricks do you have for us? camera for the New York State Championship. Yeah, well, so. I would have loved to.
That's what happens with that
Well, we got the demo mode off of this one, so it won't shut off. Yeah, we took that off, and we took the power saver off.
Because I've done live feeds with this camera over our Terrathon. And everybody's looking, you can do that? I'm like, HDMI out. The fucking pack doesn't know what camera it is. All it knows is that it's getting the signal. Yeah, well, you gotta just keep tapping it. You keep
Doesn't it have anything in there to set it? It doesn't have anything to stop it.
It does have a mode to shut it off, but when it's in video, it's different.
Well, I just know some of the older cameras, if you bought the adapter to the battery and plugged it in, that would stop it from turning off too.
You can turn off the feature that will shut it off after 2 minutes, 5
wipe
minutes,
your
30
battery.
minutes. But then you now how long is the battery going to last?
Yeah.
Because now it's heating up the sensor.
Yeah. Yep.
And then but if you
It's
tap
a photo
something,
camera. It's not a video.
Oh no, I know. I've got one like that.
but if you tap the button, now it's like 30 minutes again. So if you tap the button again to refocus, it's 30 minutes again. So every time you touch it, even if you touch the display, it keeps recalculating that 30 minutes.
All right, Glenn. How you doing?
Tom over there.
Yes. The far court.
We also have an XA25. The video on these things is great if you want to do video with low depth of field, or if you want to shoot video at 500 per second per frame, you're going to get crisp, sharp video. You want to make it look like a movie, shoot it at 30th of a second. Sit down, guys, though. And now it looks.
All right, so that's Mabet and Shen. Didn't think it would be Shen looking at it.
I thought like Chin, if anything.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mirage Mareg. Mareg. Elfenbein. Kurt Jan.
Kurt on. Alright, cool.
Kasha.
Cool. Cool.
Highlight a couple more names on Massapequa side.
I did a little bit of research on the teams too for like color, for like timeouts between plays, things like that.
Whatchamacallit, the second game of the week is done. Third, I know Galway, because we weren't them. And I talked to Coach Glenn this morning. He's just like,
I can also give some information, as you know, like I'm
Yeah.
along on the program.
well,
So
it was easy to find them. Victor was a little bit of a struggle, but I eventually found stuff. Massapequa, I mean, there was no coverage of them from Long Island Newsday for yesterday. I was completely floored by that.
I was shocked by that.
Whatchamacallit, and I got to dig up on Mountain Academy just to compliment Galway's stuff.
Yeah. Mount Academy, I did saw it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of a cult.
I guess.
Um,
We noticed that doing soccer.
And also, the thing about it is like, does anybody else find it odd that like a school that's been around for less than a decade is winning all these state titles? Is that weird to anyone
Girls
else?
soccer. I mean, within years. You're talking 3 years.
Welcome to the Cool Insuring Arena here in Glens Falls as we resume action for Championship Day with the NYSPHAA Girls Volleyball Championships. And the first game on the docket this morning is between Massapequa, the Chiefs from Long Island in Section 8, coming up to take the Blue Devils from Section 5. And this should be an outstanding match today. Tim Drawbridge alongside Skylar Arnold, Andy Camp on camera and graphics here on Court 1. And this yesterday was excellent competition in pool play.
Tim, you couldn't have said it better. In all honesty, we saw some battles here in the AA pool play. Also from these two teams and, of course, Shenendehowa and Pine Bush. I got to say, the Class AA competition was astounding. And I knew as soon as I saw these two teams play yesterday, I was thinking if they're together in the final, there's no way it's not going to 5 sets. I think this is going to be a long match because they're so evenly matched. And even then, like, we saw so much battle, so much back and forth. These two teams are very physical. They're taking a lot of swings from different places on the court, and we're going to see it all come down today.
A couple of players to pay attention to on the Victor side of the ledger. Emma Workmeister, a number of kills yesterday. She's committed to UConn. 41 kills, 15 digs yesterday. Helen Shen, number 6. Workmeister, by the way, is 12th. Setting the rest of the lineup out for Victor McKenzie, Mabit, Pesamenti, and I can't get the last player. Massapequa has lost 1 set only, Skylar.
Wow.
Each season, the last 2 as we get ready for service by Kurt Jan and Coach Amanda Del Giaco. They didn't do many tournaments, so they haven't seen the Pine Bushes, the Shens, and the Victors of the world this season, but they know that they match up very well.
Which, knowing that, Tim, that's almost shocking. Also, a great swing by McKenzie.
In.
And a smart play. That's number 14, Emma Riley, a senior middle blocker. And honestly, Tim, knowing that, that's actually quite surprising. Because when you talk to the coaches like Matt Glover of Victor, Lori Kessler of Shen, even if we're going to go down into the smaller schools like Sean Stoliker from Millbrook and Mike Glenn from Galway, they play tournaments every weekend because they want to get that exposure to be prepared for this state stage. So knowing that Massapequa has made it this far without going to those types of tournaments is honestly very, very impressive.
It's spot on, Skylar, as Riley's kill shot is off the side judge. In the corner, we're tied at 1. The service going to McKenzie and Victor.
Looked like Riley was looking for a touch on the block, but obviously didn't get it. And that's going to be a stuffed block from Chen.
Nice play by number 11, Pesamenti, to keep it alive, but Massapequa up 2-1 with the service and going back to the line. Somebody very active with kills yesterday, and that would be Emily Keaveney. Kind of the same but subtle difference in terms of approach and business-like mentalities with Coach Matt Glover and Coach Amanda Del Giaco this morning, and both pretty much at ease talking to them pregame on the sideline.
And there's going to be a kill from Workmeister. Something I've noticed about Workmeister that makes her such a powerful player, Tim, and I saw this a lot yesterday, is her ability to keep the ball in play. Yes, Absolutely. She can hit the ball very hard. However, you and I, in our experience in volleyball, and anybody who knows the sport of volleyball knows that a lot of times games are lost simply by putting the ball out of play and making silly mistakes. Workmeister does not do that very often.
Having stepped away from the action here in Glens Falls to call the semifinals of the MAC tournament with the girls volleyball between Fairfield and Canisius yesterday, that was one of the points that Fairfield had contention with early on, once that ended up going to 5 sets, was the number of errors or forced errors in terms of the kills and too much power in placement with the ball too. Ow, into the face of Humbauer, and she gets right back up.
Another player from Massapequa to watch, Tim. But yes, like we saw that a lot yesterday in all classes of the state tournament. A lot of silly mistakes cost people games, and that's something that really is a testament to Glover's culture here on this Victor squad. He teaches his players to keep the ball in play, and that's going to be an ace for the setter, Emily Willow, a senior.
Willow yesterday check that. This would be Lauren Willow. We'll get to that in just a moment, but Emily Willow doing some very nice servicing yesterday here for Victor. Nice reaction by Pesamenti by Victor.
That's blocked by Workmeister.
Nice kill by Humbauer. No effects of the ball in her face moments ago, and we're tied at 4.
Must be the adrenaline of the state final. But see, Tim, we're 8 plays into the match, and we're already seeing back and forth, back and forth. I got a feeling we're going to be here for a while, but if the game's this good, I won't complain.
Absolutely.
Here comes Lembo with the serve.
Very active yesterday for Massapequa. Workmeister in.
Plays like that, Tim, it's not surprising that she's going big-time D1 to UConn. I'm sure they're very excited to have her come in next year.
And coming up on court 2, you've got Burnt Hills, the Spartans out of Section 2, taking on Walter Panis. And we saw Rezatarski a couple of weeks ago in the Section 2 finals as the service by Workmeister is too long. We're back tied at 5, but to finish up the thought on Rezatarski and the comparison to Workmeister, they're very similar in how they're able to elevate off the floor and get over the top on the ball with the power.
Precisely, and again, same thing with Rezatarski. That girl keeps the ball in play. It is not very often that Rezatarski makes a hitting error.
Nice kill shot by Victor off the arm of Heimbauer.
And now Chen's going to re-enter the game. Go ahead, Tim.
Just to finish up the lineup, Kurt Jan for Massapequa, Ben Visti on the floor on top of Heimbauer, Squires, Lembo, and I want to say it's Keavney out there as well.
Yes. Keavney and Heimbauer are the 2 outside hitters for this Massapequa lineup.
Workmeister trying to keep it in play, tied at 6 as Ben Visti goes back to the line.
And both teams have some level of an advantage in this match. For example, Massapequa lost to Victor yesterday in pool play, so they have all that more motivation to come back and avenge those losses. However, this Victor squad knows how to fight, and I'll talk about that after this play, which that's going to be an ace. Anyways, for Victor, Tim, I was doing some research yesterday. They were ranked 1st in the state.
Yep.
Penfield was ranked 2nd in the state, and those teams came together in the sectional final. So 1 and 2 in the state were battling out just for the sectional title. It went to 5 sets. Victor was trailing 24-21 in the final set and came back and won 26-24. So if anything, this Victor squad knows how to fight.
And Coach Matt Glover's been coaching for quite some time, and many of the players on this squad, Skylar, played for Glover with his first youth team. So he knows their tendencies. He's watched them grow and evolve, moving from one level to the next.
And precisely. And another thing about Glover, I'm not sure if you read this, there's a couple news articles about it. He recently hit his 800th win as the Victor head coach. So definitely an accolade that not many reach. And there's going to be a net violation called against McKenzie.
And Victor now taking the 3-point advantage, 9-6, as Coach Glover, kind of a relaxed mode yesterday, came in with the suit jacket and the tie this morning, but the jacket's off and the tie's starting to hang down. As you can see, he's clearly actively involved on the sideline.
Here comes an outside attack from Keavney, and that's going to be a kill.
10-7 as the service now goes to Ben Visti and Massapequa, 10-6.
And a missed serve from Ben Vinisti will give the Victor Blue Devils a break.
You know, one of the things I talk about how broadcasting evolves, and I know we talked about this at least off air a couple weeks ago with the Section 2 championships at Saratoga, Skylar. From a weather standpoint, working for an affiliate out of Albany, don't do as many live shots. And one of the advantages of doing live shots, you get out of the office, you're doing weather, but you're also involved with the community and talking to people. And when you sit back and you have the ability to jump into sports and get into an arena and feel the atmosphere and the excitement here, and then the story evolutions on both sides between Massapequa and Victor, and we know Gary Bynum and Burnt Hills will be coming up soon on court 3. two coaches, first two matches of the day, over 800 victories with a sport that continues to get more limelight.
Volleyball is one of the fastest growing sports in America, Tim. You're certainly right. And again, you brought up a great point. I had forgotten about that. Coach Matt Glover and Coach Gary Bynum are two of the most distinguished volleyball coaches, not only in New York history, but they're known on the national level as well. After all, Burt Hill's played a tournament in Chicago, which I'm sure we'll talk about during their matches. We're calling that one together next at noon. And a tip over the block.
And in.
Going to be called in by the lines judge, and that's going to be a point for the Chiefs. Looked like Mabbitt thought that ball was going to be out, but it just barely caught the line.
Still a 4-point advantage for Victor here. First set here on the NFHS network. Tim Roberts alongside Skylar Arnold, Andy Camp. First of our 3 games today. Workmeister.
And just gets the line.
Substitutions, one taking place as Shen goes off and Lauren Willow checks in. And to come back to my thought I had a few moments ago, Lauren Willow yesterday in totality during pool play, 76 assists.
Wow. Give me a free ball. Here comes Workmeister. And that's going to be a kill.
Off the hands of Squires. Didn't pretty much have the right body position. Nonetheless, the angle with her arms as the ball ended up making contact with her.
Looks like we're going to have a sub for the Chiefs. Entering the game is number 19, Olivia Harris.
As Harding heads to the bench for a break.
I mean, outside attack from Heimbauer, that's just going to go out.
And just out it was. Victor closing the gap here to 1.
You hear the call of out, but it's still played by Cavini. And hitting error is going to tie this one up at 12.
Both benches standing. We saw that mostly yesterday with all the teams here involved with the championships at the Cool Insuring Arena. But considering that Victor out of Section 5 had a distance to travel, and so did Massapequa, this arena feels electric this morning.
Okay, and it looks like Workmeister had a block, but it's going to be called that she was over the net. Looks like Coach Glover's not agreeing with that one.
Another substitution. Shen is back on as Willow goes to the back. Actually, it's Shen and Willow heading out. Pesamenti is checked in, and I want to say Murphy has checked in as well.
Now back to serve for Massapequa is the libero, number 13. That's Kylie Squires. One of the sole lefties, if not the only lefty on this Massapequa lineup.
Workmeister.
Big swing out of the middle.
Another kill. We're knotted up at 13.
Checking back in for Victor is Caitlin Murphy.
And an interesting thing on the Victor's sideline is Freeman Fessler. And I saw this yesterday with the Fairfield head coach, Todd Kress, making signals behind his clipboard to whomever was behind the line doing the service. And the assistant coach, Freeman Fessler, was kind of doing the same thing as Mackenzie was behind the line ready for service for Victor.
Yep, so what they're doing there, Tim, is you can name every position on the court by 1 through 6. So, like, for example, the server spot is position 1. Then it goes in the opposite order of rotation. So right front is position 2, middle front is 3, and then so on and so forth. So what they're doing when they're holding up the numbers behind the clipboard, they're telling the server which spot to serve to.
And you just saw that with the assistant for Massapequa as well, Pedro Messina, as Ava Lembo continues service, and Massapequa with the 2-point lead here, first set in the AA championship.
I mean, right side attack to Workmeister, and she's going to put the ball on the ground. She's on fire right now.
It's very obvious. Coach Glover, having had chance to be able to catch up this morning, review some of the game tape with Massapequa, and they're running everything on those kill attempts over to Workmeister here early.
That's another thing to note about this Victor squad. Well, let's pause and watch Workmeister serve. That topspin serve is lethal, but the Chiefs handled it well on that one.
Nice.
There's going to be a kill off the block for Heimbauer.
16-14. And if you haven't sensed it already, it's why these two teams have made it to the final here in Glens Falls.
They were neck and neck in pool play, and today they've got their unfinished business that we're sorting out right now.
And the score in pool play, even though Victor lost both, or check that, Massapequa lost both to Victor. First set yesterday, 25-21, 26-24 in the second. A total differential of 6 points in the match. These two are very close and very evenly matched.
And that's like when someone asks me, like, who do I think is going to win after being here for literally 12 hours yesterday?
Yeah, I know.
I have no idea. I couldn't tell you. It really could go either way.
Pesamenti, the shot, or check that. Yes, Pesamenti with the shot out of bounds.
Now giving the Chiefs a 2-point lead.
Benvisti. Rather, Benvenisti. And quickly off her hands. Similar reaction yesterday. That's why I ended up misstepping on her name. It was at one point she took a hit on a kill attempt. I forget exactly where on her body. It was close to her face. But nonetheless, she threw her hands up and just started laughing. And it's one of those things when you have the intensity of the competition and something like that happens, it's all you can do. Just roll on to the next opportunity.
Very smart play by Chen.
Falling in front of Squires, and we're tied at 17 as Mabet has the service. Rejection by Shen.
Here comes Workmeister out of the back row. Dug up by Heimbauer.
Quick little pushover. Nice save by Pesamenti.
Outside attack to Keaveney.
Nice little work over by Willow. And the point to Victor.
Something I noticed about this Victor squad, Tim, and it's definitely a testament to what Matt Glover teaches. Whatever he's teaching over there in Victor is obviously working, right? Is he's teaching his players to be smart. Yes, it's fun to hit the ball hard. It's really fun to do that. However, that doesn't always win the game sometimes. At the end of the day, whoever puts the ball on the floor better is going to win. You can do that with the tip, you can do that with a push to the corner, or maybe you can do that instead of the setter setting up a hitter, just tipping it over on the second contact, and that's exactly what Willow did, and it paid off. The Chiefs were not expecting that play.
The kill shot by Keaveney has us back tied at 18. Shen. Point service back to Victor.
Looked like the way she was approaching the ball and taking a big swing, she expected to hit the ball a little bit better than that, or a little bit harder than that, I should say, and I think it hit the net on the way over, but at the end of the day, the ball was on the ground.
McKenzie with the serve.
Now Workmeister's back in her favorite spot, which is the front row, and that's going to be a block for Workmeister.
As she and Kurt Jan from Massapequa battled at the net. Timeout, Massapequa will do the same. The Chiefs up by 2 in the first set here on the NFHS network.
What rhymes with great?
Participate.
Where does greatness start? Here, in the classroom. On the stage.
In the pool. On the field. Where will your greatness take you?
To better grades.
To more friends. Yeah! Be great.
Participate!
Welcome Welcome back to Glens Falls, a cool Insuring Arena. I think this is the quietest the arena has been since we walked in here at about 9:15 this morning. Tim Drawbridge alongside Skylar Arnold giving you the live action of the AA Girls Volleyball Championships here. As Victor yesterday 6-0 in pool play, Massapequa 4-2. Those two losses coming to the Blue Devils out of Section 5 in the last match yesterday morning.
And like we said, although they were losses at the end of the day, they were not hard losses at all.
No.
They were not easy losses either. Both games were back and forth. Looking like that's going to hit the deep corner, so the point's going to go to the Chiefs. But like you were saying, Tim, between the first set and the second set score differentials, when you total it up, the Chiefs only lost by 6 points.
Exactly. And I believe that kill shot was by Squires as Keaveney, who played such an instrumental role yesterday in pool play, gets ready with the serve. Keaveney, Riley, Benvenisti yesterday, all instrumental in Massapequa's success. The
and
block.
Workmeister's blocked, but it's recovered. Now an off-speed shot from McKenzie. Here comes Heimbauer. She's dug up by McKenzie.
Wow.
Workmeister's dug up. Wow. What a play from the Chiefs.
Killed
wow.
by Heimbauer off the hands of Pesamenti, tied at 20.
And I couldn't help but notice after Kurtjan dug up Workmeister, she literally fell backwards. That's how hard that Workmeister hit the ball. That was a great play by both sides, but I got to give it to the Chiefs on that one. Here comes Keaveney with a short serve, but she's dug up.
Nice kill attempt by Shen, duck out by Squires.
And a very smart play from Heimbauer. She did the same thing that Chen did before the timeout. She saw the defense was back, ready for a hard hit, so what'd she do? She tipped it short, and there wasn't enough time to get there.
Massapequa, the 1 point lead, 21-20.
Good pass from Workmeister. And someone was in the net. It looked like someone was in the net.
Power from Workmeister most of the match. Sprinkles in a little bit of finesse on the pushover. Tied at 21 as Emily Willow, check that, Lauren Willow, serves for Victor.
It's going to be punched over by Heimbauer. Looked like a miscommunication. Going to be touched off the block and by Heimbauer on the way out. Be another kill for Workmeister.
Victor up by 1.
An outside attack with Heimbauer, but she's dug up by McKenzie. Here comes a McKenzie swing out of the back row. Dug up by Heimbauer. These two are just going back and forth. And a hitting error from Heimbauer is going to give Victor a 2 point lead.
23-21. Timeout. Massapequa, speaking of Heimbauer, as we keep it here, talking about having a high standard of excellence with the team and using aggression from the front line. We're seeing that with both sides.
You're exactly right, Tim. And like we were saying, I can't predict who's going to win. I have my predictions for the other classes, but this one, it really could go either way. At the end of the day, other than the usual stuff, defense, blocking, talking, all of that jazz, I think at the end of the day, when these two teams play at such a high level, what's really going to be the determining factor of this game is the outside hitters and the serves.
I agree.
Because we're seeing that although both teams are using their middles and they're using their opposites, they run about 80% of their offense through the outside hitters. So we're looking at McKenzie and Workmeister from Victor. We're looking at Keaveney and Heimbauer from Massapequa. And also we're seeing both of these two teams are serving very aggressively. I think those are going to be the two ultimate deciding factors at the end of the day.
Long on the serve by Lauren Willow, who slaps her hands to the floor with frustration. She'll check out as Shen comes back on. And it's a 1-point lead for Victor as Squires heads to the line for the Chiefs.
There's Workmeister.
Oh!
And she puts the ball down.
Keaveney went down for it. And now Victor will serve for the first set.
Outside tackle into Heimbauer, but she's dug up by Pesamenti. Here comes Workmeister for the set, but she's dug up. There's Heimbauer again, and she's going to find a way to put the ball on the ground.
Massapequa stays alive in the first set with the substitution coming up for the Chiefs. Harris checking out, Lembo back in to serve.
A good reception by McKenzie, going right side to Workmeister, who's going to find the corner and take the first set for Victor.
Very obvious what the modality is for Victor. Work everything for Workmeister and let her take it home. We'll take the break. 1 set down, the first to Victor. You're watching us live from Glens Falls on the NFHS network.
What rhymes with great?
Participate.
Where does greatness start? Here, in the classroom. On the stage.
In the pool. On the field. Where will your greatness take you?
To better grades.
To more friends. Yeah! Be great.
Participate!
The innocence of youth. Is there anything any better? But soon they'll be in high school and facing all the same challenges you faced. How to make friends, how to fit in, how to be cool. We want our children to have everything they'll need to live fulfilling and productive lives. Make sure the kids in your family are among the more than 12 million participants in America who take part in high school sports or activities.
Welcome back to Glens Falls, a cool insuring arena. Tim Drawbridge alongside Skylar Arnold. Massapequa having won Section 8 3 years in a row. In fact, 3 years in a row against Syosset. They won the championship back in 2007. Victor, very close back in 2018, losing the state championship game to Long Beach. And as we've already mentioned, Coach Mac Lever over 800 wins. Two different types of modalities on how the coaches got to this point. As Coach Del Giaco from Massapequa actually has a collegiate coaching background, having coached at LIU, Post, Dowling, and this is her third season as the varsity coach for Massapequa.
Wow, I didn't know that, because I feel like usually like high school coaches transition to college. College coaches don't usually transition back to high school, so that's a very interesting thing. But in all honesty, if my high school coach was a former collegiate coach, I wouldn't be complaining about that at all.
Different level of experience, in even though the approaches are very similar in terms of demeanor, discipline, and professionalism, and the way both teams carry themselves, pretty much the same end game.
Victor taking the first set 25-23. Definitely a battle. Now, starting the second set, going to be Alex McKenzie, one of our players to watch.
Nice save by Pezzamenti.
Wow, very impressive. Now it's going to be a block from Workmeister.
With some help by Shen. Pezzamenti again.
Pezzamenti is everywhere this play. Wow. And a smart play from Keaveney. Again, wasn't the hardest hit. Actually, wasn't very hard. It wasn't a hit at all. It was a tip.
Yep.
But again, we saw a lot of back and forth, hard hits, a lot of craziness. Sometimes you just have to take a deep breath, relax, just go back to the basics, tip it right over the block.
Pezzamenti, I can't remember the stat, Skylar, but she was very instrumental and very active yesterday. Can't remember the stat picked up by the Democrat Chronicle, one of the papers out where Victor is in Western New York State. Is Shen will go off and Willow will check back in.
I was very impressed with what I saw with Pezzamenti yesterday. I was very impressed with everyone, but particularly with Pezzamenti, there were balls I was like, there's no way she's going to get that. There's no way.
Yeah.
There's no way. And then next thing you know, the ball's sky high, Victor's in system, and then they get a big kill. She was everywhere.
I believe Keaveney with the error into the net and the early lead on the side of Victor, 2-1.
We dig up from Squires. Back row attack from Heimbauer. McKenzie not able to keep it up.
Tied at 2. Shen will check back in as Willow goes off. Lauren Willow. Keaveney with a serve.
Received by Pezzamenti. Helped by Mabbitt. And McKenzie's going to provide the Chiefs with a free ball. There's a back row attack from McKenzie, but she's blocked.
By Riley.
Give another free ball. Here comes Heimbauer.
Wow.
Again dug up. McKenzie is everywhere on this play. Wow.
With an assist to Pezzamenti again. Blocked by Murphy. Keaveney again.
Both teams, liberos and outside hitters, were definitely getting their defensive work in, their defensive practice, and I felt like every other play I was saying dug up by McKenzie, dug up by Heimbauer.
Yep. Keaveney with service now with the 1-point lead for Massapequa.
A short serve received by McKenzie. Workmeister able to put it down.
In stereo, tied at 3. Checking out, I believe that's Willow. Coming back on is Murphy. Caitlin and Abby, the senior and sophomore respectively, side by side on the front line with Workmeister. Too long.
It looked like McKenzie was getting ready to go up and pass the ball with her hands, but then the entire bench just screamed out. She put her hands back down and let it go.
Good communication from the bench.
Also, very important to have that trust as well.
Always got to be able to trust your teammates. Nice dig out by Squires.
And Heimbauer is blocked.
5-3, the 2-point lead for the Blue Devils. I just got to say this as we resume action. I can smell whatever they're cooking again here at the arena, and it smells like good grease, per se.
Sometimes some greasy, unhealthy food is exactly what you need. Oh, and a very rare hitting error by Workmeister. I think that's her first hitting error of the day.
She does not make many, and the Chiefs have closed the gap down to 1 with a service going to Squires.
And again, somebody like her having so few errors is even more impressive because we're seeing she's hitting the ball almost every play.
It's obvious they're setting everything up through her.
Here comes Heimbauer. There's a touch on the block, but McKenzie's able to dig it up. And a tip from Workmeister, able to put it right in the back corner.
You mentioned this a couple of weeks ago. You just don't play hard, you play smart. And Workmeister, we've clearly talked about her power this morning, but she's also playing smart with an air of finesse, placing the ball too.
She had more than enough room to take a huge swing and put a dent in the ground, but she didn't. The smart play, or any of it could have been a smart play. She had multiple options, but she saw the corner was wide open, and hey, at the state final, what's important is, like we're saying, put the ball on the ground.
Harris checking out, Lembo checking back in for Massapequa. Again, Victor with the 6-5 lead.
Here comes McKenzie back on the outside. Off-speed shot, looked like she was off balance.
In front of Pezzamenti, and we're tied at 6.
Now Lembo back to serve, the senior defensive specialist. And McKenzie is blocked, but it goes on the Chiefs' side of the net. They're unable to keep it alive.
Ben Vinisti and I believe Kirkyan at the net trying to go up with a double team block as Shen comes back on the court for Victor.
Perfect reception by Squires.
Nice play by Ben Vinisti.
Ben Vinisti will win the joust against Chen. McKenzie unable to keep the ball alive after it went back over on the Blue Devils side of the net.
We're tied at 7.
Here's Heimbauer with the serve.
Shen.
What a great play by Shen. I've noticed yesterday, Tim, watching that, not even yesterday, but also today, running that play we call the 31 is her favorite play. So at the 31, it's basically like halfway between the outside hitter spot and the typical middle spot, and it's right above the net. It's a quick play. It's not in the middle, so it's kind of between the two. It leaves the blockers guessing. Is she going to swing out of the middle? Is she going to swing from like halfway between the outside and the middle? What's it going to be?
The kill shot by Ben Vinisti out, and the service with the point goes over to Victor. So basically the 31 is kind of a play following the numbering structure with the players on the court.
So it's a and honestly, Tim, we could talk about this all day long. But so it's kind of complicated to explain if you're not as familiar with the sport. So all the lines or all the zones in the court are numbered. Yes. So like there's like section 1, section 2, and that's like where you are in relation to the net and the sideline. So the 31, the 3 is halfway between the middle spot and the outside spot. So right in the middle, hence 3. So like because the middle is 2 and outside is 4. So between them is 3. Then the second number is how high the ball is above the net. So 1 is like it's 1 ball's height above the net. So it's very, very low on the net. So the idea is as soon as the hitter jumps, the ball is leaving the setter's hands, and it's like not being touched by a player for literally about half a second.
Got it.
So the 31, 3 for between the outside and the middle zones, and then the 1 for 1 ball height above the net.
And for those of you with more of a football background,
probably a very confusing explanation.
It's kind of an air of similarity. When you run a cover 2 defense, you've got 2 safeties, 2 defensive backs. Cover 3 means you have 3 defensive backs. Cover 4, you got 4, and they're all covering a particular zone. So it's very, very similar.
And Workmeister is blocked.
A rarity as Riley, along with some help from Kirtyan, have Massapequa now again within 1 as Lembo goes to the bench. Workmeister.
And that's going to go what looks like off the shoulder. Wow.
And they still do it.
Wow.
Great save by Heimbauer, who can't save that one.
Hey, you know, although Victor's getting that point, Massapequa, that was a great hustle, a great effort from Heimbauer, all of them. I think if she had taken one more step, she literally wouldn't have been, she would have been in the bleachers. And also we see that little partition, it goes up to about your waist. I mean, I'm a little short, so it probably goes up to about their knees because they're tall.
And
but
just keep
wow.
in mind, this is the home of the Adirondack Thunder, who are away, I believe you mentioned in Idaho, Andy. And needless to say, the boards are up, and thankfully the boards are up. Otherwise, she would have run right into the stairwell over on the other side.
We never want anyone to get injured, but especially someone as critical as Heimbauer in a game where the stakes are as high as this. However, again, that's another thing I'll give Heimbauer so much credit for, is I saw yesterday, even when things weren't going Massapequa's way, she was still hustling. She was still doing everything she could to keep the ball alive. And that's a great testament to who she is as a person, but also the culture that Coach Del Giaco has instilled in these young women.
Spot on. In fact, during the course of the last couple of weeks, Heimbauer was quoted as discipline, 1 point at a time. And during that match with Victor, they may have lost only by a total of 6 points, but again, you see it again this morning. These are two evenly matched teams, and you literally have to take every set point by point.
Yeah, you can't worry about what you're going to do when it's 24-23 if you can't even get to point 10.
Yes.
And I think it's very important. Don't get ahead of yourself. One hurdle at a time.
Willow on the service, hits the net, but it's over into the Massapequa side.
And that's going to be an ace.
And a timeout for the Chiefs as Victor has extended the lead to 4. We'll take a timeout as well. The AA Girls Volleyball Championships here live from the Cooley Cheering Arena in Glens Falls. Back here on the NFHS Network in just a moment. Welcome back to Glens Falls. Tim Drawbridge alongside Skylar Arnold, Andy Kapp with graphics and camera this morning. It's nice having the two of you over here today to be able to sit back and capture the excitement.
It's great to be back after 2 long years of no state championship.
And after pool play yesterday and then consolidating resources, happy that the three of us can kick you off here this morning from Glens Falls with a thrilling AA match here in the second set. 4-point lead for Victor.
A roll shot from Heimbauer to keep that ball alive. Here comes Workmeister. And it looks like that was not a block, more so it hit the antenna. However, regardless, the Chiefs are going to catch a break.
I concur with that, and coming to the line, Squires for Massapequa. Pesamenti with a nice dig.
A tip from Workmeister.
Squires with the attempt. With another finesse move by Workmeister. Complete deception on that.
Here comes Workmeister's serve, which is so fun to watch. And it looks like there's going to be a net violation called against the Chiefs, but credit to Cavini for chasing that ball down and keeping it alive. I don't think she heard the whistle. She turned around and she had her hands in the air like, why isn't anybody playing anymore?
Got to give the Chiefs a lot of credit. Pesamenti made one of those spectacular plays, actually stepping off the court into the black area off the blue to our left, and Massapequa's played a few shots off the main court here, keeping things alive.
I gotta say, that big ace from Workmeister definitely gave the Victor Blue Devils a lot of momentum. But the thing about Workmeister's serve, it is the perfect combination of skill and athleticism.
Off the hands of Keaveney. into the crowd and a 7-point lead for Victor.
We heard last game when she missed her serve, all of the Massapequa parents and bench were screaming with excitement because we're seeing why.
We'll come back to Glens Falls. Timeout, Massapequa, a 7-point lead for Victor.
High school sports fans, relive your favorite moments. Just click the shopping cart below the video player to get your digital copy today.
Welcome back to Glens Falls. Victor back out in the court. Massapequa, the whistle, and the time ticking down on the timeout. Victor, the Blue Devils, from Section 5, a 7-point lead here in this second set, having taken the first set 25-23 over Massapequa. It has been a tightly contested match thus far, and the biggest lead for the day for Victor.
Coach Del Giacomo calling a timeout, hoping to do what we call freeze the server. And there's going to be another ace for Emma Workmeister, the UConn-bound senior. So when we say freezing the server, it's basically when the server's on a really big service run and you need to do something to stop the momentum. Call a timeout, give her a break, maybe she'll get in her head, miss her serve, and that's usually the goal.
Off the hands of Keaveney, nice attempt by Harding to try to go through her teammates and chase it down, but it's a lead now extended to 9.
And if I could be mistaken, we might find out. I think the rule is once you go off the blue of like the surrounding area, you can't play anymore. So if you step onto the gray and play it, it's called out of bounds essentially.
Out. Nice play by both Squires and Harding to let that Workmeister blast go through them. Point service to Massapequa as Lembo once again checks in for Harding.
Eight-point deficit, getting kind of late here. Oh, and that is not what the Chiefs needed right now.
Shen's going to come back on for Abby Murphy. The substitution for the Blue Devils as Pesamenti now comes to the line.
A great dig by Pesamenti, who's going to push it over the net on an out-of-system play.
Benvenisti can't get it over. 22-12, Victor. As Vargas Alomar gets ready to check in for Abby Murphy. Her first appearance on the court this morning. Vargas Alomar, a senior, as Coach Glover before the match this morning remarked, both teams are very senior heavy.
Yes, I couldn't help but notice that too. Although, like, there's obviously like sophomores, juniors, even I think a freshman somewhere. Oh, never mind, no freshmen. We're seeing that the underclassmen are on the bench and the seniors are on the court.
Yes.
However, what's really going to make a testament of what's a strong program is if they continue to win the league, win the section, make it to states year after year, no matter who they graduate. Now, obviously, both teams are going to get a hit.
Yep.
All their outside hitters, both of the liberos, both setters, most of the middles, they're all seniors. So obviously, like, they're going to have some level of rebuilding to do, but I have no doubt that both of these coaches are teaching their bench how to do everything, and that they're still going to continue to be strong programs, even though they're losing a lot of talent.
Kira Donnelly, her first appearance on the court this morning.
And that's going to be an ace.
Off the hands of Lembo. And now, first appearance on the court this morning, the ace. And now serving for the second set is Donnelly.
Going back to what we said before, the outside hitters and the serving are going to make all the difference, and we're seeing that the serving really is what made this set for Victor.
And it started with Workmeister, whose strength has been at the net. Just shows how much of an all-around player she is. Nice kill by Keaveney to stay alive.
10-point deficit as Ben Vinisti goes back to serve. It's not impossible. However, the unfortunate part about this situation, Tim, is there is no room for error. One more point, and then the Chiefs are going to find themselves in a 2-0 deficit.
Shen. Victor takes the second set, 25-14. We'll take the break. We'll come back to Cool Insuring in just a couple of moments. Victor up 2-0 in this Class AA Volleyball Championship live on the NFHS Network.
The innocence of youth. Is there anything any better? But soon they'll be in high school and facing all the same challenges you faced. How to make friends, how to fit in, how to be cool. We want our children to have everything they'll need to live fulfilling and productive lives. Make sure the kids in your family are among the more than 12 million participants in America who take part in high school sports or activities.
High school sports fans, relive your favorite moments. Just click the shopping cart below the video player to get your digital copy today.
Welcome back to the Cool Insuring Arena for the Class AA Girls Volleyball Championship between Victor and Massapequa. Victor up 2-0. I'm going to make this point right off the bat, as you ended up seeing Coach McLever walk away, and here's Emma Workmeister in the middle of a team only, 60 seconds before walking back on the court. You saw Coach Glenn with Galway last night in that tight match between Galway and Candor in the Class D. When a coach walks away and then allows one of the players, one of your captains, your seniors to speak, what is that like in the huddle?
It's honestly sometimes what you need, and it's nothing against the coach at all. As an alumni of the Galway volleyball program, believe me, I know how it goes, and I've been there. But I think as someone who watched those games, everyone was looking towards senior captain Julia Reedy, league MVP, has some offers. She's the leader of that team, and sometimes all you need is like one of your own to hype you up and build you up, because Galway knew going into playing Candor they needed to win both sets if they even wanted a chance at being in the state final. If they lost one, there was no shot, and even then if they had taken both, they had an overall record of 3-3, so even then it wasn't guaranteed.
Coming down to point differential, but they didn't need to worry about that with the rejected shot by Riley, but the point goes to Victor.
Yep, that was because it was very tough to see. It confused me even for a second. Even though Riley had the block, it went off her hands out of bounds.
Yep.
So she was technically the last one to touch it. Here comes the serve from McKenzie. And miscommunication will give the Blue Devils a free ball, but Kean comes and puts that ball away.
One of the things Workmeister has talked about in the days coming up to this match, hard work is paying off. And Shen, she was on that squad a few years ago. Been waiting since her freshman year to do this. And again, Shen, now a senior. Two 2-1, the early Victor lead as Keavney will go to the line.
And out of system play, you can hear Mackenzie calling for the ball. Workmeister able to put it down.
Off the hands of Squires. Shen will go off. Lauren Willow checks in. Mackenzie, Shen, Donnelly, Workmeister, Murphy, and Emily Willow for Victor on the floor.
And there was a block, but it was kind of the same thing that happened with Keavney. There was the block, but there was some sort of error, and it landed on their own side of the net. So it'll be a point for the Chiefs.
And that attempt by Riley, who goes to the bench. We've got Harding and Heimbauer, as well as Ben Vinisti for Massapequa. Squires is out there. She's heading to the line right now on top of Keavney.
I don't know what Coach Amanda Del Giaco told her team between the sets, but it seems like whatever it is working. We saw a lot of, very little energy from the Chiefs last set, which, makes sense. It wasn't a very close set. Something happened and things went poorly. However, that's the really cool thing about there being a new game. The score is 0-0. Anything can happen. You're not in a hole. It's a fresh start. However, obviously, as we know, Victor is up 2-0. If Massapequa, wants to take this state title, they're going to have to take both. They're going to have to come back and win the next three.
Just to round out the lineup for Massapequa, Kurtjan on the court. Now a substitution as Harding goes off, Lembo goes in. We've seen that several times now by Coach Del Giaco as we're tied at 4 here in the third set. And I completely agree with the assessment that Massapequa seems to have a little bit more energy in the court in this third set.
Okay, Mackenzie's gonna, and a handling error from Emily Willow will give the Chiefs another point. I'd like to make this point about Mackenzie, and Workmeister does it exceptionally well as well. Obviously, their position is outside hitter. They're hitters. Their job is to put the ball on the ground, but we can't sleep on their defensive skills either. We've seen Mackenzie is an outstanding passer. Obviously, we had an error there, but we're human. Everyone's going to make mistakes sometimes. But no one's going to make a perfect pass every time. It's impossible.
That play, I think, symbolizes Mackenzie's play, because how many times has she gone to the floor this morning to dig one out?
Multiple times. There will be significant amounts of bruises. And it does not look like Mackenzie expected that ball to hit the floor. Like the saying goes, if it works, it works.
Workmeister back to serve for Victor. The 1-point lead with the Chiefs.
And that's going to be dug up, but it goes out of bounds. Mackenzie plays it anyway. Here comes Heimbauer.
In.
Down the line for the kill.
7-5 Chiefs.
Looked like Workmeister shifted more in the middle, back position towards the left side, towards Pesamenti, because Heimbauer's been hitting more towards the cross court, not down the line.
Mackenzie again digging out, but flaring to the right. 8-5 Massapequa.
Now Heimbauer continuing her run.
Murphy with the attempted kill. Mackenzie the save.
Be a free ball given to the Blue Devils. Let's see if they can put something together.
Murphy.
And there's going to be a kill.
Caitlin Murphy, the senior. She goes off now as Shen will check back in. Pesamenti waiting for the AOK to serve is Coach Del Giaco talking to the lead official about something. Dig out by Squires.
Be a right-side attack, and that's going to go off the block for a kill for Benvenisti.
As McKenzie and Shen on the double team went to the net. Benvenisti to serve, 3-point lead for the Chiefs. McKenzie.
And a very sneaky play. Very smart play, actually, from our setter, Emily Willow.
McKenzie with 22 kills yesterday in match play. Not as many as Workmeister, almost half, but still.
Very powerful. She's a key player in this Blue Devil lineup. Out of system play, but here comes Workmeister out of the back row, and another very rare hitting error. Coach Glover does not look happy about his team's play in this set. Looks like they've had a lot of unforced errors, which are contributing to this loss. Now, provided 3-point deficits, nothing that much to worry about anyway. However, still something, especially in the state final. That ball was cutting it close, but a good judgment by McKenzie, who let it go out. Now McKenzie herself back to serve.
And it was a last-second call that she had to react on very quickly.
She had a 50-50 shot. And a save by Heimbauer. Gonna be another free ball to the Blue Devils.
Workmeister.
And that's gonna be a kill.
Off the hands of Harding and Riley, who tried to go up for a double team.
Got a score of 9-10 as McKenzie continues her service run. Victor is now just 16 points away from taking their state title.
Nice dig out by Donnelly, but the point to Massapequa on the kill by Riley.
I don't think Emily Willow had any idea what to do with that ball. She turned around and it was flying at her.
Keavney to serve for Massapequa. Shen with the kill.
She's dug up, and that's actually going to be a kill for Heimbauer. A great swing by Shen, but Kurtjan was right there.
Coach Matt Glover, emphatic on the sideline, talking to his players. He knows after 2 sets they can start to taste it, but they can't let their guard down.
You put it perfectly, Tim. They're very close, but it's not done yet.
Workmeister, the kill. Massapequa throwing their hands up going, hold on, we took that one out.
Yeah, Kylie Squires, that was an incredible dig, but it looks like a net violation is why that point went in favor of Victor.
Shen checks out as Lauren Willow, another senior for Victor. Again, Willow very instrumental in the service game yesterday and thus far this morning. Heimbauer. Massapequa 13-10. Benvenisti on as Riley takes a breather on the bench.
Now going back to serve for the Chiefs is Squires. With Workmeister with a kill.
Off of Squires, and Squires could not react.
And that's something I think we're going to see a lot this set. Like as you were saying, the Blue Devils, they can taste it, but they're not quite there yet. They're putting their key in the door, but the door is not open yet, right? And I think we're going to expect to see a lot of swings from Workmeister, more so than usual, because we even saw in their first set when things were getting a little bit crazy, and it was back and forth as both teams were approaching 25. Workmeister's their go-to if they're in trouble.
Big time.
If they're in trouble, if the Blue Devils are in a hole and they need to get out of it, we can bet almost everything that ball is going to Workmeister, whether she's in the back row, the front.
Lembo serving for the Chiefs.
Looked like a communication error on the Blue Devils. Looked like Murphy was going back behind the setter to run the slide, which is a back set, and also, but then Willow set the ball in front of her.
Lembo continuing service. Out.
And it looks like Coach Glover is not happy. It looks like a timeout's going to get called.
And he can see him go right down into a crouch position, and he's really getting into things on the lower left-hand corner of the screen. In the meantime, Coach Del Giaco's got to be very happy with how her Chiefs have come out in this third set.
Of course, I think it's a little bit of both. I think the Chiefs came out with a lot more energy than they had in the second set, which is awesome. And I think we can also see the Victor Blue Devils have made a lot of unforced errors this set, more so than they had in the previous two sets combined. It seems like they're giving a lot of points away by balls going in the net, balls going out of bounds, which is becoming, it's, you know, obviously we see we're adding up with a 5-point deficit.
From this vantage point, are they pressing knowing if they take this set, they get a crown, or is it we played so much yesterday, the road trip in early on a Sunday morning, and we're starting to get a little tired?
You'd like to think it's not being tired since they're so close to what they've wanted for all these years, you know? I think they might have just come out a little bit flat since they won by such a big margin last set, if I had to guess what happened.
Workmeister, as Lembo, who had the service, went to the floor.
Here comes Workmeister again. And a tip to the corner forces a miscommunication, and the ball hits the ground.
Over Lembo, Keaveney diving to her right, and the lead down to 4 is Workmeister, who had a long series of service points in the second set, is out the line.
That's exactly what Victor needs right now. But she's dug out by Squires.
Murphy with the pushover.
Workmeister dig. Here comes McKenzie.
Long. The lead back to 5, 17-12. As Heimbauer will step in with the service. The lead now to 6.
And Coach Glover is not happy.
Whatever adjustments Coach Del Giaco made for this third set, they're clearly working. McKenzie with the kill attempt off the hands with the double team of Benvenisti and Kirtyan.
It didn't look like anybody from the Blue Devils defense was there to cover that ball. And that's not okay. Coach Glover, he didn't look happy before, but he especially doesn't look happy now because he knows his team is better than that.
Tip over by Benvenisti, and the point to Massapequa, and an 8-point lead, and Coach Glover's calling for the timeout, pacing the sideline. We'll take a timeout as well. Come back to Glens Falls in just a few moments. You're watching the NFHS Network. Massapequa fan base with the chant during the timeout. The dynamic shift in the third set, and an 8-point lead for Massapequa, and I want to say their largest lead of the match thus point.
I'd have to agree, Tim. And now again, like, although it's looking like the sun might be setting on Victor for this set anyway, we have to remember that this team knows how to fight. Their sectional final went to 5 sets, and they won set 5, 26-24. The great dig by Heimbauer.
Evening rejected by Murphy. Caitlin Murphy
And that stuff block looks like it gave the Blue Devils a little bit more life and some more momentum.
As Abby Murphy checks out and Helen Shen checks back in. Shen, again, instrumental with 14 kills in pool play yesterday. Pesamenti on the serve. Benvenisti, too long.
It looks like the Chiefs are looking for a touch call, but they don't get one. And see again, like now a 6-point deficit looks like a lot, but again, we saw last game, we saw this game, 1 point can become 2 and 2 can become 3, and then sooner or later, games can be tied.
We saw that at one point in the Class D late last night between Galway and Candor.
And there's a kill from McKenzie. There we go.
Off the hands of a rolling Heimbauer trying to dig that out.
If I had to guess, Coach Glover just told his girls to settle down and go back to the basics. Getting under the ball, setting your hitters, finding the holes in the defense, keeping the ball in play. Although obviously these two teams play at such a high level, it doesn't always have to be so complicated. Sometimes we just have to keep the ball in play, go back to what they teach you in modified, and sometimes that's all you need to do the trick.
Benvenisti in. A 6-point lead for Massapequa as she now goes to the line. Checking out Squires back in on the front line is Emma Riley.
If Massapequa can score 4 more points, they stay alive in the state final. But if Victor can come back and score 10, then they take the state championship.
McKenzie.
With a big swing, but it's dug up by Heimbauer.
Benvenisti.
McKeon stepping in to set.
Rejected on the double team. Riley, Kurtjan on that front line for Massapequa. 22-15.
Uh-oh. Ooh, and the free ball just barely tips over the net.
Keaveney.
Here comes McKenzie.
Into the net.
Coach Glover is not happy.
23-15. Massapequa's Benvenisti continues service. Whistle. Point to Massapequa, and they're going to serve for this third set. Murphy too long, and the third set goes to Massapequa. 25-15. We'll take the timeout. You're watching the NFHS Network.
What rhymes with great?
Participate.
Where does greatness start? Here, in the classroom. On the stage.
In the pool. On the field. Where will your greatness take you?
To better grades.
To more friends. Yeah! Be great.
Participate!
The innocence of youth. Is there anything any better? But soon they'll be in high school and facing all the same challenges you faced. How to make friends, how to fit in, how to be cool. We want our children to have everything they'll need to live fulfilling and productive lives. Make sure the kids in your family are among the more than 12 million participants in America who take part in high school sports or activities.
Welcome back to the Cool Insuring Arena in Glens Falls. Got the holiday parade taking place at 1 o'clock on the other side of the river in South Glens Falls. Don't want to think about Thanksgiving because we've got so much volleyball to sit back and take in for the rest of the afternoon.
Although, not going to lie, Tim, I think some Thanksgiving dinner to get us through these games because I'm already starving.
Whatever the smell is from downstairs is the same smell from yesterday, and smells like
greasy food, but sometimes that's what you need.
It's either French fries or fried chicken.
Definitely like sports venue type foods, for sure, I would say.
Hopefully you've got a nice cup of coffee and something appeasing your appetite sitting watching us here on the NFHS network. I'm Tim Drawbridge. That is Skylar Arnold along to our side, to our left. Andy Camp on graphics and camera, taking in a fantastic match between Victor out of Section 5, Massapequa, from the Nassau-Suffolk County line down on Long Island out of Section 8. Fourth set, Victor up 2-1, having taken the first set 25-23, 25-14.
There's a stuffed block from Chen.
And then taking the third set was Massapequa. Go figure, I didn't write down the score, but obviously we're at
I think it was 25-15.
Thank you. It was a 10-point advantage.
It was somewhere around there. Plus or minus a couple points for the Victor Blue Devils. And another block from Chen.
Keavney trying to go for the kill, but Helen Shen right there to match. Victor out to the early 2-0 lead with McKenzie, who had a number of errors in that third set, rolling things along here. Nice pushover by Kurtjan.
And a good dig from Heimbauer.
Keavney, another one.
Off the hands of Chen to land in front of Donnelly.
Kurtjan steps back for service. Set the lineup. Massapequa, Harris, Riley, and Keavney on the front line right now. Squires, as well as Kurtjan, who did service, with Heimbauer, who tried to dig that out.
Wow, all 3 points that Victor's gotten so far have been from Chen. 2 on her blocks and 1 on that kill.
Perhaps a little bit of a change with we'll run the offense through Workmeister and kind of throw the air of deception now, running it through Shen.
Now that Workmeister's in the front row and Shen is off the court, that likely may change. But we'll have to wait and find out. Give me a free ball.
Too long, smart move by McKenzie to let that go out, setting the lineup here in the fourth set for Victor. McKenzie, like I mentioned, Lauren Willow stepping to the line for service. We've got Kira Donnelly out, as well as Abby Murphy, Workmeister, and Emily Willow. In. 4-2 Massapequa. Nobody was home in the back side for Victor. Here comes Keavney for Massapequa.
Here comes Workmeister with a big kill.
Wind up, swing, hit, kill.
Textbook execution.
5-2 Victor. You're going to see that similar type of style of play with Burnt Hills in the Class A over on Court 3 coming up as they take on Walter Panis from Rezatarski. Heimbauer the pushover. Workmeister can't dig it. As Benvenisti comes on, Riley checks out for Massapequa. 2-point lead for Victor. Workmeister
with another big kill. She's an outside hitter, but she definitely likes to swing out of the middle too.
She just likes, I think, to swing anywhere on the court.
That's true.
You just see how enthusiastic she is in the huddle And she's clearly one of the leaders on this team along with Shen.
Oh yeah, naturally, like the players on the team are going to look to Workmeister. She's going big time D1. She was the Greater Rochester Player of the Year when she was a sophomore. Like with that level of experience and that level of skill, there's no wonder. There's a kill from Mackenzie.
Little confusion in between Keavney and Squires, 7-3 Victor. And we saw this back in the second set with Workmeister, that when she got onto the line, she was on a roll of 7-8 service points in a row. Workmeister off
There we go.
the hands of Squires.
And now she's going back to continue this service run.
Timeout. Massapequa will do the same. Victor up by 5 in the fourth set here on the NFHS Network.
The NFHS Learning Center is the leader in online education for the interscholastic community. At NFHSLearn.com, you can find over 70 courses, including more than 30 free courses, such as concussion in sports, heat illness prevention, sudden cardiac arrest, and protecting students from abuse. To learn more, visit the NFHS Learning Center.
Welcome back to Glens Falls' fourth set here. Victor up 2-1, and they have the 5-point advantage here in the fourth set. Tim Drawbridge alongside Skylar Arnold, Andy Camp, bringing you a fantastic Class AA match here on a late Sunday morning to kick things off on Championship Sunday from the Cool Insuring Arena. Looking forward to the rest of the schedule coming up during the course of the afternoon. At noon, the Class A Walter Panis versus Burnt Hills Boston Lake, and the Class B between John Glenn from Long Island and Hendrick Hudson.
And Coach Del Giaco's timeout work as she froze the server, as they would say in the biz, and Workmeister's serve goes into the net.
She made that same type of play back in the third set. This time it did work. Lembo to the line for Massapequa.
A perfect pass from Workmeister.
Mackenzie, I believe off of Squires. She's saying, I didn't touch it.
I gotta say, I'm not, that ball kind of looked out from here. We're almost exactly like in line with the line up here in our spot, and that ball looked out by about a foot. However, again, we are far away. He's standing right there as the line's judge, but Massapequa definitely did not agree with that call. Even Coach Del Giaco is holding her hands in the air, making the out signal.
I completely agree. Pezzamenti on the serve. Heimbauer going for the kill.
Here comes Workmeister out of the back row. She's dug up.
Lembo again. Nice play by Keavney, too.
Oh.
Shen into the net. Coach Glover, hands on the floor.
Yep, he's not happy about that play, especially when the Blue Devils had gotten a free ball. A free ball is an easy pass over the net. That's why it's called a free ball. It's a free opportunity to score a point. So hitting errors on free balls are not okay, especially in the state final. But one and up by Heimbauer. Good pass by Workmeister.
Keavney the pushover. Back to Mackenzie. Off the hands of Benvenisti. Nice volley here.
I think every player's touched the ball this play. On both sides of the court.
Keavney off of Pezzamenti. Out of bounds. Coach Glover talking to his team. Settle down, settle down. And just to follow up, I mean, his hands before it hit the floor, and some people interpret that as frustration or something else. You can just see the passion for his team in this sport. (10-6) the lead for Victor as Donnelly steps to the line now as Murphy checks out.
You tip, but Chen unable to get her full hand on the ball.
The lead down to 3 as Benvenisti will step to the line. Squires checks out. Back onto the court is Emma Riley to take her front line position. Shen.
But she's blocked.
Riley Kurtjan on that front line with an assist to Keavney trying to come back up and support as well. McKenzie, too long. No, they get it on the touch.
Yeah, there's a touch on the block.
Here's McKenzie for Victor.
I say Heimbauer is really impressing me with her defensive skills.
Workmeister rejected. The pushover by Donnelly. Keavney. In. McKenzie had some doubt. And let that one play in. Substitution is Lembo will check out. Coming on is Harris for Massapequa. To the line, Kurtjan. Workmeister pushed.
But somehow is saved by the Chiefs.
And that would have been Kurtjan who sets it here. Keavney. And the lead down to 1. Shen on the attempted kill. Nice defense again by Heimbauer. Workmeister tip.
And gets the kill.
In front of Kurtjan, diving to dig it out. Shen will check out. Willow will check back in, head back to the line for Victor. 2-point lead here in the 4th set. Tim Drawbridge alongside Skylar Arnold, Andy Camp. It's been an electric first match here on court 1 this morning. The kill, and it's out by Riley. The lead to 3 for Victor.
Yeah, but didn't look like Benvenisti agreed with that one, or excuse me, Heimbauer, not Benvenisti. She's on the bench. Agreed with that call, but that one, it did look out by just a little bit. Here's Lauren Willow.
Push over by Riley, getting ready for Workmeister, off the hands of Riley.
Now, just like that, the Blue Devils are 11 points away from taking the state title. However, again, set 4, we're seeing a lot more fight from Massapequa. I wouldn't be surprised if Massapequa came back. Again, like a 4-point deficit, that's nothing they can't work with.
A lot of fight in both of these squads. Keavney. Donnelly in desperation can't get to it. Shen will check in as Lauren Willow will check out. Or actually, Pesamenti with the way things are done on the substitution. Workmeister.
And Kurtjan was not expecting that ball, you could tell. And honestly, I wasn't expecting that ball to go to her either.
When the ball is coming right at you, it is so, especially at shoulder level, how can you just maneuver quick to be able to try to get some sort of an angle to respond?
You're putting your hands up and you're hoping for the best. Speaking from experience.
Keavney. Pesamenti.
There's a free ball to the corner. Here comes Heimbauer.
Off the hands of Murphy.
And that's going to be another kill for Heimbauer.
The lead back down to 3. Once again, Riley checking out, Benvenisti checking in on the front line. Workmeister again off of Kurtjan and into the third row of the stands.
Wow. You have to get some of the ball boys we had from soccer in to grab the ball.
Coach Matt Glover's now. Hold on a second. I got to bring ball boys too now.
He brings his stat people. And an ace for Workmeister.
Squires couldn't react. A 5-point lead for Victor. Workmeister's done this several times in the match thus far. When she hits to the line, it's a series of service points and a timeout for Massapequa. We'll do the same. We'll be back to Glens Falls here on the NFH Network in just a few moments.
The innocence of youth. Is there anything any better? But soon they'll be in high school and facing all the same challenges you faced. How to make friends, how to fit in, how to be cool. We want our children to have everything they'll need to live fulfilling and productive lives. Make sure the kids in your family are among the more than 12 million participants in America who take part in high school sports or activities.
Here at the Cool Insuring Arena, the fourth set between Victor and Massapequa. The 5-point advantage for the Blue Devils out of Section 5. Workmeister at the line. Ironically, another Massapequa timeout during a service opportunity for Workmeister.
We'll see if Del Giaco's attempt to freeze Workmeister will work, and it does not.
Benvenisti off the double team of the Murphys. As Harris checks out, Limbo will come on in to do her thing at the service line.
There's a kill from McKenzie.
Off the hands of Squires. 18-13 as Caitlin Murphy checks out and Shen is back in.
It's important to note that every player on the court right now is a senior. All 12 are seniors.
Got to draw upon the experience and the leadership as Keaveney couldn't get that one, and it's a 6-point lead for Victor.
Coach Del Giaco is asking for clarification on something.
And it doesn't appear she's too happy with what is being said either.
Not quite sure what she was asking about, because that pretty seemed like a cut and dry play. However, again, up here, she sees things that I don't.
Benvenisti, too hard, too long. A 7-point lead from Victor, for Victor.
And the short serve is dug up by Squires, and then the backwards tip that was sneaky, but also dug up, and there's going to be a kill for Chen.
22-13, and you can sense from the Blue Devil faithful that the Lady Blue Devils are getting close.
A back row attack. It's dug up. Here comes Workmeister out of the back row with a kill off the tip.
Heimbauer trying to stretch for it. Can't get there. 22-13, Victor. Got a shoelace issue with Lembo for Massapequa. Coach Matt Glover, he wanted that game tape this morning. Came out blazing. They were ready physically and mentally. Were healthy. Just need to play mistake-free. Made some errors along the way, but
the ball's not dead. Oh,
plays like
what a good
that
try.
Are very symbolic of this Victor squad. Actually, both squads, the way this match is played out. Heimbauer has him empty. Nice dig. And a quick little push by Kurtjan in front of Workmeister and Massapequa.
And Coach Glover looks afraid, not because of they have a 7-point lead, but a couple little points like that can stop the momentum, and then next thing you know, we could be going to 5 sets.
Workmeister looking for the net call and gets it. Checking out Murphy, checking in Donnelly. Two points away from their first ever Class AA championship. Donnelly on the service.
And just like that, folks, Victor is 1 point away. Their fans are on their feet.
Here's Donnelly for the match. Nice dig out by McKenzie. Nice dig out by Squires. And the Victor Blue Devils, 3 sets to 1, take it from Massapequa, 25-23, 25-14, 15-25, and 25-15.
What an absolutely electric moment, Tim, and what an incredible game. Congratulations to Victor, but also we can't sleep on Massapequa. This was an incredible fight. They had a tremendous season, and we have to give it to both teams for their effort. What we saw today was a lot of energy, a lot of talent, a lot of skill, but most importantly, a lot of heart.
Both teams absolutely leaving it on the court. Give credit to Massapequa. When you lose only 2 sets the last 2 seasons, and then you come in here and your 2 losses in pool play are to the ultimate state champion who you go toe-to-toe with. You know it's bittersweet, but this is a taste that they're going to remember for a very long time, and this is what Coach Del Giaco now takes back to Long Island and goes next year.
And that's correct, and we see the teams of the next pair of matchups from Class A and Class B are starting to line up. They'll do about 5 minutes of the ceremonies, and then it'll be ready to go. Yeah, coming up for the rest of the day, folks, at noon, or it's probably going to be closer to 12:15-ish at this point. Class A between Walter Panis and Burnt Hills Ballston Lake. Myself and Tim will be back covering that game. Then over on Class B, we have John Glenn and Hendrick Hudson. Then at 2 o'clock or more so as soon as possible, Class C, we have Portville and Millbrook, and then Class D, Galway and Mount Academy. So we got an action-packed day of finals ahead.
4 more matches, and if you didn't see, because of the wide shot, the one poster that Emma Workmeister ran to get, and it's been a theme for Victor, quote-unquote, unfinished business. I think that poster will be asked to be taken by Massapequa. We're going to go ahead and pot down the mics and leave the award ceremony in play. So on behalf of Andy Camp, Skylar Arnold, and everyone here with the NFHS Network, I'm Tim Drawbridge. We'll catch you at noon or just thereafter with the Class A and the Class B championships coming up here on the NFHS Network.